GMan reviews. We're going to do one of these each week, and I'm Fatin. Joining me is Infinite Pink and Viking Cop. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
We've gathered here on the Rebbl Discord to talk about Divisions 1, 2 and 3 in GMan, and so here's the teams. I've got the teams up here, and the first one we're going to have a look at is Cryptically Humorous. So let's have a delve into this one. Who wants to talk about Cryptically Humorous to start with? This is Pyro TJ, and Pyro TJ was last season. I think he was in, what division was he in last season? Let's see. Pyro was in Division 2 last season. Yeah, one of the hotly contested Division 2 ones.
So he was the coach of the infamous Turbo Mummy.
Where's that?
Yeah, he's not anymore because she died.
He's dead.
And now, yeah, it was called Nifern. I see it. Yeah, there is return now. It's a Rookie Mummy replacement.
Nifern in brackets.
Oh, was this the cage diving movement 5 mummy or something?
Yeah.
Sadly, no more.
So what we have here, it's a solid 1760 TV team with a Rookie Mummy. Yeah, it's okay. And then what he has, wow, that ghoul is really developed.
Yeah, carnivore splitter.
He has a good ball carrier, also with guard. A lot of dirty player. I like that.
I'm a fan of the fouling, definitely.
Bloody fouling. Yep. we'll discuss dirty players later on, I'm sure.
It is always annoying though when you roll like doubles or something after getting dirty player and you want to get guard. You see that one there.
Do you guys ever sack dirty players because they picked up too many skills?
Never.
Really? Okay.
I do, yeah, definitely.
Well, if they're crippled or injured, I know, maybe yes. Just for the plus of 20k.
Like,
but that's only, yeah.
Looking at this movement 3 zombie, like he can't even get to the bodies on the ground, so he's movement 3. Surely a waste of time. He's got a GFI just to do fouls, right?
Well, if he had wrestle, it might be okay, because if someone wrestles him down, he can just stand up and foul them. But
yep.
Yeah, he also has a project for a one turner there with the second bull, who has plus movement and sprint. And it's also a ball sacker with tackle and wrestle, so it's a nice piece.
Yeah, that's quite a weird one though, isn't it? Because if you are going for like, I guess it's not like a dedicated one turner, just because a lot of the time you might want to keep him off the pitch or something. But
it's kind of like
can kind of do everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like just about 9 movement with the sprint, but it's really a bit dodgy. And 9 movement, you still need 2 pushes, don't you, for a one turner? So
it's AV6 as well. It's pretty scary.
Yeah,
it's true. Ooh. Yeah.
I wonder if I'm assuming he has him on the pitch all the time, but yeah.
I'd imagine so.
With AV6, you just hope for the best, don't you? So anyway, so Pyro's, let me see. Last season he was 634, so he finished 6th in Division 2. It's a tough division to get through. Not as on 21 points, just behind a whole bunch of people on 22 and 24 points. So I think he had a decent season, but we'll see.
Built team as well. Nothing I can see that's like particularly weird.
Yeah.
All seems good.
2 good goals.
But the team seems really balanced. I mean, I see 5 mighty blow, so this is punchy. I see also 5 guarders. So I mean, it's ready for combat.
Oh yeah.
The one thing he's missing a bit of, I think, is tackle. Like, as a Skaven player, I would always look to see how many tackle the other guy has. So, so it's like the first thing I look for that little blue icon there, and he's only got 1, which is his kind of his super ghoul with armor 6. So yeah, so it's not going to do that much damage to your. He's not got mighty blow tackle, for example, so which would do damage to my good pieces, but.
Yeah, I guess maybe that plus movement, White might have got it, but he got the plus movement.
Yeah, true. Maybe that'd be... Oh, he's only 2 points away from developing Helmet the Stalker, so it won't be too long. So, good luck to Pyro. His team's looking pretty good. 1760, that's on the lowish end for Division 1, but yeah, I think he's going to who's going to have some good games this season. Right, okay, so we don't know who Pyro's playing yet because the schedule says Hard Daggers, who is an admin team, so they're obviously filling somebody in. But definitely scheduled is one of my favourite teams of last season, Alliterative Allosauri. Wow, HUD had the best game. Let's have a quick look at Alliterative
Best game in the
Allosauri.
playoffs ever.
It's a fantastic game, yeah. I think it's probably still up, but loads of people were watching this, and we all felt a bit sorry for HUD. But basically, it turned out he had sort of two Saurus on the picture at the end of the game, desperately trying to defend against Horny Cricket's mighty necromantic team, and they almost pulled it off. Where's the Strength 5 Saurus? It was this one, Dread Saurian.
Yeah. That is like the dream.
Now, his Kaz box, yeah, that is in fact the dream, yeah. His Kaz box was pretty full up at the end of that game, and I think it shows, doesn't it? What do you think, Pink?
I mean, it is great having the Strength 5 Saurus. If you can get block on your crops as well, then your line of scrimmage is just a nightmare to deal with, and even like really heavy bash teams a lot of the time just won't bother with it. If you have like guard on all of them, and then Strength 5 on the corners, I think I just love it. I think it's really good.
How old is this team? Let's have a look. It's just bring it up on the screen.
It's 30
I
games.
do think
30
he's a bit,
games
I
old,
think he's
so-
a bit light on the guard there, to be honest. Personally, I just got a lot of mighty blow. I would have probably gone for more guard, but that's just a personal preference, I guess.
Well, you want to take guard. You want to take Mighty Blow on the Saurus to accelerate their development, really, don't you? So,
That's true.
but then guard, you get more hits in. Or it's easier to get more hits in versus the strength team. So, I think he's got a decent mix. There's no break tackle Saurus, which I don't know whether he had a break tackle Saurus, but I like to have at least one break tackle Saurus for a random get out there and blitz something. Yeah.
Possibly the killer will get.
Yeah, so his Saurus are nice, but I'm sure they've taken some deaths and casualties and stuff. That's the one thing that like makes me really nervous about playing Lizard Men. Like in this team, with we're going to see a couple of pretty scary Chaos teams later on. So like if you're playing Lizard Men versus big Killer Claw teams, then like your lovely Saurus that you spent 30 games trying to build, it's like, oh dear, one's just died. So that would be.
And they do take a long time as well.
Yeah. So
Funny thing here is that his shadows look okay, but his skins are non-existent.
well,
Yeah, I don't
okay.
think that's the worst though. If I'm
Yeah.
honest. Like, if it was one way or the other, you'd want to have your Saurus leveled up over the skins.
Yeah, so look at this. There's TV 1500, and how many players is that?
10.
10 players, so one rookie, one loner skin. So 1560. That's going to be pretty low TV, and like you said, it's got all the skills in all the right places on the Saurus. So he did have one good skink, didn't he? Before he had a block agility skink or something. So that was pretty nice, but that one died in the last match. But we do also know that HUD is a pretty awesome player. So I think he's gonna do well in Division 1. So like he was making some good moves in the game. So yeah, good luck to HUD. That. Oh, by the way, Pink, what's the correct term for a Croxagore with block?
Block Segura.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's use that in the future. Right. Okay.
Old, thank you.
So what's next on there? So HUD will be up against our fellow co-commentator Kejruz has promised to join us for at least one of these sessions. So so he is the Dr. Rikazoid's Escapees. Now, Kejruz was also he was in Division 1. So you must have played in Biker Cop. Tell us a little bit about his team while it just comes up on my screen here.
Kay himself is a hell of a coach. He's extremely good, and last season he performed very well. He was not lucky in some key moments, so that's why he couldn't make it to the playoffs. But I think that his play style is really solid. I managed to grab a tie against him last season, and I consider myself lucky for that. I was about to lose. His team is really balanced. He lost one Flesh Golem against Sage after playing me, so that it's hindrance to the development of the team. But look at these wolves.
I know there is something about werewolves though. I swear, like you look at pretty much every Necro team, and I swear just all of the wolves roll doubles or stat ups or something. It's just crazy.
I'm super envious of these wolves. They look. I also have a bit of a fear of wolves because my Skaven got totally smashed up by like one wolf in the in one like jump up mighty blow pylon tackle wolf that was moving around the pitch, just removing all my rats. Yeah, I couldn't run away at all. So these wolves look pretty good, don't they? So strength, well, both movement 9, pretty amazing. Both his whites, mighty blow pylon, one with tackle, one with jump up.
Yeah, let's speak a bit about the whites, because this Skeletor stuff, it's Mighty Blow, Jump Up, Piling on, Tackle, Killer, is bounty. It's bounty. There is a bounty on him. If you kill him, I want to publicly say that I am the placer of that bounty. Myself.
There's a bounty on him, right? Okay, so that just makes everybody in Division 1 aware of Skeletor as the threat.
Yeah, because in my game against KG last season, Skeletor gave me 4 parents. In a
What
single
are you
game.
offering? What is the bounty?
Yeah. The bounty is, I think you have €10 for any pusher in Steam, and if you kill him with a piling on move, it's an extra.
Whoa! Okay, so there's a little bit of a bonus incentive there. So Skeletor. We'll see if we're still doing these reviews in the latter half of the season whether Skeletor has lived or picked up a couple of niggles. Look at the rest of his team though. He's managed to keep the rest of his team incredibly light. So basically 2 ghouls, 1 rookie ghoul. Well, I don't know if this is on purpose, but he's got nothing on his ghouls, so he's got just totally rookie ghouls. 1 is out for the first match.
Nah, his schools kept dying last season.
Okay, so it's not on purpose then, but his TV is all in the first, 5 out of the 6 players, isn't it?
He has recruited a few zombies during the Open Invitation also.
Should we play the game of whether any of these zombies came from alternative teams before?
I think some of them do.
Bubonic 2 might have been. I don't know whether that was a Nurgle zombie, but got Dirty Player and Kick now. Anyway.
Fred and I don't reckon it's probably from someone else.
All right, my one of my rat players has become a zombie on Horny Cricket's team. Like reasonable Mike has.
Reasonable Mike was yours.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he killed him in the semis, so that was a bit unfortunate. But it's good to see him roaring into the finals, and I think he did a couple of fouls as well. So.
Can I ask your opinion on something, guys? With the 2 whites, would you generally go for a killer on both, or would you do one as like a killer and one as more of a support, maybe get guard and tackle or something?
Depends. I mean, he is clearly using the whites as killers. He uses the wolves more to play the ball, usually. Not always, but... I mean, he prefers, in my opinion, at least from the game I play with him, he prefers to use the Mighty Blow piling on guys.
If
the pain.
I would be interested to ask Kedrus, perhaps when we talk to him. Like, I have not played a huge amount of Necro, but they are a kind of a bash agility hybrid team, aren't they? So, and there's not really any agility. There's no edge 4 in this team, but they don't have much strength, do they? Look at this. We've got 2 fleshies and 1 strength 4 werewolf and 1 guard piece. So is this team going to have trouble against big strength teams? Unless it can claw a couple of important pieces out of the way, then I don't know. It's not got any guard, or not as much guard as you could have. You could have 2 more guard on both ones.
1 guard is pretty light, I'd say. I think it could struggle. But these wolves, though, I mean, they can win games for you.
Yeah, sure. Like the blodge sidestep movement wolf. It's so nice. So they won't be getting any more levels for a little while. That's one good point, I suppose. But yeah. True. So good luck to Kedrus for the opening season. He's up against HUD. That should be. Anyone? Are we in the predictions business? Come on, we're in the predictions business. Lizards versus Necro.
I'd probably go for the Necro team, though.
Me too.
Yeah, okay, because of the claw and so on. Yeah, and there's a mighty
Yeah, I
blow,
think-
mighty
I
blow
think
tackle
Mighty Blow.
piling on for you know that Skeletor wants some skinks, doesn't he? So
Yeah,
right,
And also the deep bench, I think that he's going to foul with the Abandon.
Yeah,
Good point.
He's got
Yeah.
14 players, although he's got a couple missing that game, I guess. And also having, sorry to talk about fouling again.
oh, fouling.
Having the two dirty players, it can be great against the armor as well.
True. Yeah, actually, it's one way of breaking the Saurus armor, isn't it? Or a good way of breaking the Saurus armor. Okay, next match. So the next match is going to be We Like to Drink versus Things That Make You Go So I think these two probably met before in the last season. Let me see where we find We Like to Drink. So it's Mego's dwarf team, and it's going to be versus Full Metal's Nurgle team. So it's just coming up here. Mego's dwarf team, 20-30 dwarfs. Jesus, I got a bit sick of seeing dwarfs. Sort of like constantly seem to get paired up with dwarfs. Stupid, stunty tacklers. But what do you think of this dwarf team? Has anybody played a lot of dwarfs?
I literally never played any dwarves, I don't think.
I've never played them.
So-
I mean, he does have block on his death roller, which is pretty scary.
I can't actually see all the skills of the death roller. Okay,
He
block
has-
and guard.
Block,
And
guard,
he's,
death roller.
And he's got the free bribes.
Is stadium?
That's the stadium enhancement, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he
Makes
has.
sense.
Okay. The referee rest area. So Mego was, let's see, he was 7th in Div 2 last season with 634. Obviously got a massive team value. People are going to take some inducements against him, but not in his first match because he's up against another enormous
Yeah,
TV
so
team.
it's
So
2K as well, aren't they?
I think basically, poor dwarfs. Do we feel sorry for dwarfs when they get clawed to death?
No.
No.
No, not really. So I mean, he's got to have a bit of luck. Poor old Mego here. He's got a strength 4 Troll Slayer, which could do some business.
Mhm.
Very well developed. And it's got a Blodge movement runner, so that's almost an elf. That's movement 7. Runner here,
Did
so-
Mego face the Sage during the playoffs as his
Uh,
team?
No, not in the playoffs. Sage faced another dwarf team in the playoffs that was from REL. I can't remember who that was, but and Sage. Oh, that was quite an exciting game. I seem to remember I was watching at the end of it, and like at the end, Sage lost control of the ball and his players completely, and there were loads of Chaos players on the ground, and the dwarfs were trundling towards the end zone, but they couldn't quite make it, I think. So yeah, so can be done. But yeah. Any unusual skill choices that you can see here?
No, I like the runner, the Bloods plus movement, kick off return, fern runner. It's
Yep.
an excellent build for that
Yep.
dwarf team.
Yeah, it's all very standard though, isn't it? Just guard on all the long beards, a couple of mighty blow, stand firm. It's got diving tackle when he's
we've
got
got-
doubles.
Diving tackle, jump up, blitzer. So that's 2 doubles there for that blitzer, isn't it? So
Actually, how do you feel about that kind of thing? Because obviously that's a lot of team value, and those skills probably aren't going to be hugely useful until a bit later when he's got a couple more skills.
Forbidden tackle is an awesome skill, but when paired with tackle itself, because diving tackle only leaves the reroll opportunity for any Skaven to roll a 4+ or an elf.
Yeah.
With tackle, then it becomes huge, because 50% of the time you have to burn a reroll to go away from this guy.
yeah,
And in fairness, there is synergy there, isn't there, with diving tackle and jump up? So
yes, that's true. And jump up is an okay skill already. Like depending on how often your guys. I mean, dwarfs get knocked down and then they just jump up again, don't they? But they've got high armor, so.
it's quite big though on players with low movement. Having the ability to get up and still actually move your full movement is really quite big. You know, that's if you're talking like percentages and the
Yeah,
amount of distance
that's
that
true.
you can move, it's much further than it is for like a high movement piece.
I mean, the most common thing is on witch elves, isn't it? And you always underestimate how witch elves can just like jump up and then move their entire 7, and then maybe even more for GFI. So, yeah, I think for a low movement piece like a blitzer, that's also pretty good. So, Yeah, perhaps I have a feeling we'll see more knocking down of Mego's team than jumping up of Mego's team in this upcoming match, because I'm going to have a look at.
Yeah, for people that don't know, I have a Nurgle team in Div 2. Looking at Full Metal's Nurgle team, it's just scary, isn't it? It's a different beast to mine.
Okay, so Metal, I think I've heard him talk about like how difficult it was to develop this Nurgle team, and now he's in a position where he's 2080. What's the difference in your Nurgle team, Pink, and this team that we're looking at here?
Well, it's mainly with the Nurgle Warriors. I made the decision to go block and then guard on a couple and Mighty Blow on the others. One of them got diving tackle, but I kind of went for the more of the kind of control idea. Whereas you can see if you're looking here, Full Metal just went Mighty Blow first, obviously, to speed up development, and then ended up going block and then claw on 3 of them, which in retrospect I think is probably the way to do it. If I was to start again, I'd probably do that. I would do that if I was playing Chaos for sure. The reason I didn't do that with my team, I guess, is I wanted a bit more reliability early on, and I also in my first spin games when I first made the team, and in the first few games of the first season I played with them, I suffered a few permanent injuries, and I just kind of got a bit paranoid about my players all just dying, so I ended up going block on them first.
Yeah, just a bit of protection. It's kind of like when you don't have block on the Nurgle Warriors, then sometimes you open up just one dice with block on a Nurgle Warrior is quite a decent option sometimes to free up some space. So, whereas when they do have block, then it like halves that chance of a knockdown. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess the idea for me was that it would be more reliable earlier on, but if you can get past that point, you mentioned that Full Metal had been saying that it was really hard for him early on. That's probably largely because he went Mighty Blow on all these Nurgle Warriors. But now, his Nurgle Warriors are much higher level than mine, for example, and he's got a much better kill squad than I do. So
2 of them have niggles. You're not going to fire them, are you?
No, not at this point.
No. Also, I just noticed that the ex-wife has the Beast of Nurgle has block. So, I really hate getting all my players tied up on the Beast of Nurgle. It's such a pain. And one of the things I like to do is just kind of like a desperation half dice. And if it's got stand firm, block, guard, you're never going to get away from that stupid thing. Yeah. So you just have to wait for him to roll a 1 and then it goes stupid and then everything moves away from it. But
yeah. But then if he's playing sensibly, he's probably never even going to activate that piece.
He might not even activate it.
If it's touching 2 or 3 of your players or something.
Yeah. So that's one of the big weapons of Nurgle. Although I have heard people say that they fire their Beast of Nurgle when you get up to high TV, so they just they don't run the Beast at all. So I don't know. Not being a Nurgle player,
I think I could kind of understand that, but for me, I think the main reason that you'd play Nurgle over, say, just playing Chaos, would be that you have these abilities like Disturbing Presence, Foul Appearance, Tentacles on your big guy. You can get that on the Minotaur, obviously, but the whole point, I think, is to disrupt the other way the other people play, and the Beast is just so good for that.
What teams are Nurgle best at? What would you say is your most comfortable matchup? Is it Agi teams because of all the Disturbing Presence and the Tentacles, or?
Well,
maybe when you go. Yeah, you go ahead.
Sorry, Viking.
No, I was saying just that such a high TV Nurgle is usually the king of bash. You can see that all his pieces are becoming killers. All of them have some kind of protection, so foul appearance. They are quite disruptive. They are stocking some guard. He has also developed a nice ball carrier and sucker.
Yep.
And he has dirty players. 2 of them already. So it's a bash team. Pure bash team. I think any one of us bash coaches can struggle against that. Even Sage will suffer against this.
No piling on though in this team.
Not needed.
Not needed.
Nah.
Often you see one Pestigor with Mighty Blow piling on the kill skills, don't you? So
I am intrigued that he hasn't gone for at least one like Killer Pestigore, because they're much better for the blitzing usually than the Noble Warriors, because you can't tie them up as easily.
Yeah, so he won't always be blitzing the opposition's best players, because they might be just running away from him, unless they're dwarfs.
Yeah, but I can see why you wouldn't get padding on strength 4 players, because you kind of want them standing up, to be honest, especially if you want to go guard and things.
Yep.
That's the same, to be honest. I was thinking about mentioning that with the Lizard team earlier. They had a Mighty Blow padding on Saurus, and it's not my favourite for that exact reason. You kind of want your Saurus all standing up.
You don't want to put your strength 4 pieces, on the ground, because that's, one of the things that they're good at, isn't it? So, okay, good. Well, good luck to Full Metal. I have him as the favourite against Mego's dwarfs, but.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he's got quite a good chance in general.
Although,
I think he should do well.
You know what I think is going to happen? So when Metal finishes one of his games, he always complains that he doesn't get enough Kaz. So what's going to happen is he's not going to get enough Kaz, and it's going to be severely unlucky with some sort of dice somewhere. So his Agi 5 is going to fail a pickup or something, and then the dwarfs are going to beast it in there and save the day. So we'll see what happens. But will he get enough Kaz? I think he probably will do. Right. Okay. What's next? Oh yeah, it's me. It's us two. Viking Cop. Right. Do you want to talk about your team, or let's talk about your team, Viking Cop? The Cornago Carnages. So let me bring
my
them up
boys.
here. Yes. Here we are.
Okay. What do we have here?
1950 Chaos.
1950 Chaos with a big stock of money in the bank. Yes, the team is nicely developed, more or less in the shape I wanted it to be. I'm focused on control chaos mainly, so you won't see a very long piece on my teams, but you will see a lot of guard, as you can check. All the warriors are quite nicely developed, but one that was killed by Sage last season. But it has developed, it has killed twice in half a dozen games, so I'm quite happy. The rest is pretty average for chaos. Block, guard, mighty blow, a few claws, tackle. I have three tackle pieces. 2 of them are also mighty blow. So I'm expert at killing Skaven. and also I have my favorite piece because I wanted to develop a fun piece.
You're talking about the tentacle guy.
Yes. No, it's not tentacles. It's prehensile tail.
Sorry, prehensile tail guy. Yeah. So tell me about him then. How's he been going for you?
Well, he was the original sacker of the team with Russell first and tackle second. Then it took him a while to develop his third skill, and then I decided, while checking how to compensate or balance the team, and I didn't have any special need at that moment. So I said, okay, let's go for something funny. Because the prehensile tail looks really amazing in the piece. You see the player itself, it's like, wow.
Let's have a look.
It's badass. It rocks. And I love having him running through the pitch and not doing nothing, actually, because,
just looking good.
I developed him to try to annoy, especially Elf and Skaven players. Well, it has not succeeded that much, but still he tries.
So you like
and
to?
I think that yes, his next season is if his next skill, if he manages to get it, will be tentacles, and then it will be like really annoying piece. Not really worth his TV maybe, but it's a special one.
You like to put Mantigores for style value in the middle of the pitch, and he's just basically saying, "Come on, dodge past me," and he just stands there looking cool. So that's his value to your team. Well, good luck. I was going to say good luck to Mantigores, but no. Let's target him early, shall we? We'll get him off the pitch with our storm vermins or something, and then.
Nah, that would suck.
How would you compare your... So you were in Div 1 last season, and as was Crimson Fox, and as was Slaanesh Slaughter as the Sage. So how would you compare your Chaos teams to the other Chaos teams?
My Chaos team compared with them is the less killy, maybe. Chaos is a murdering machine. That team is awesome. He got really unlucky in the final against Cricket. Cricket played amazingly. That has to be said. The playing from Cricket was textbook and awesome. But Sage didn't get his good rolls, especially when he tried to remove pieces. And this happens, happens to all of us. His team is a killing machine. All his warriors are block, mighty blow, guard, claw. There is even some tackle on them. I'm speaking of level 5/6 warriors. They are killing machines.
Well, we'll have a look at them later. But that was you guys have. It's pretty intimidating for me. Let's have a look at my rats. So like, so much chaos in this.
16.
My team value is high for what it is already, and then I don't know. So let me find my team. Where's my team gone? The rats. So I really like playing Skaven, and this is kind of the first league I've joined with Skaven. It's been pretty fun, but they do have they have a lot of lineman MVPs, so they've picked up quite a lot of skills on their linemen. I usually like to have like nothing on my linemen. And the gutter runners were pretty boring up until Snickle Spengler got guard and Kenobi Vance's got movement. So other than that, they were pretty dull. I tried to make their development even. I like to go Wrestle Dauntless on 2 and then Block Sidestep on 2.
I wanted to ask you about that actually. The Wrestle Dauntless. You don't go Wrestle Tackle or Strip Ball?
I don't like Strip Ball at all because it basically is useless if anybody's got sure hands, and I really like Dauntless. I think people underestimate Dauntless. I think basically it makes it into a strength-free player a lot of the time for making blocks anyway. So quite often you can make random blocks if you want to free up space, assuming that you're a strength-free player, and you can even chuck in the odd block against a strength 4 player. It's like a 3+, and it's not terrible if it goes wrong either, because usually if it's just a 1 dice, if it would have been a 2 dice, then it just turns into a 1 die instead. So I really like Wrestle Dauntless, and I like it on 2 of them. But assuming you don't make any other interesting rolls. And
I have a question here.
Yep.
Why you have a Dodge Lina?
So there's 2 options for dodge for linemen rolling doubles. I would so guard or dodge. If you are playing a game that doesn't involve making a lot of blocks, so a lot of fighting, then dodge linemen can be pretty good because they enable you to reposition your cage really quickly and stuff. Like Skaven linemen are pretty crap at dodging most of the time, and you think twice about dodging any time really, because on a 3+ they can just fall over and kill themselves. So armor 7. So having a dodge lineman means that you can reposition with a movement 7 and dodge. You can put him in really, really useful places quite consistently, which is why he's there. And if he ever gets another skill, he'll have Rodge, so Wrestle Dodge, which is quite handy as well. So, if you compare that to the other guy who rolled a double, Ludicrous Gibbs, he's got guard, but he's like got totally nothing other than guard. So he's juicy target number 1 for any player with a mighty blow. It's like, oh, why don't I go and hit the guard guy with no defense and armor 7? So yeah, I'm trying out both, but I quite like dodge. I prefer guard on a bit more survival pool pieces, like a blodge step gutter runners. Guard is really nice on them.
Oh yeah, I love guard on gutter runners. I think the first double I get generally, especially if it's on a lodge piece, would always be guard.
Yeah, you do that on like elves as well. If you've got elf blitzers with blodge sidestep, then a guard is a really nice double to have as well, because it makes it super annoying.
If you can dodge into a cage and get a guard on the ball carrier, that means that you're then if you want to get your sacker in there, you can get your 2 dice bit easier.
Yeah, often when you're going for a sack, there's not a position where you can attack, and so you can put your guard gutter runner in a position where it cancels out on a defensive assist and provides an offensive assist and helps you get a 2 dice on the ball. So So there's often those sort of situations. So Nickel Spengler is gonna. I really like that. I think there's really only 2 double roles that I have on gutter runners. So if it's a ball sacker, if it's one of my wrestle players, I'll usually take 2 heads, and if it's a defensive carrier or a more defensive gutter runner, I'll take guard. So if it's on one of the block guys, I'll take guard. If it's on one of the offensive guys, I'll take 2 heads.
Do you like to develop also one retriever? Somebody with, for example, big hand or something like that, sure hands also?
Yeah, for example, I played Toast Guy in the playoffs, and he had a leaping strip ball elf, and I had no sure hands, so that was pretty. I thought I was going to get wrecked by his leaper, but so the next skill on Frisky Zebulon will be sure hands, I guess. Yeah.
I should have picked that up actually. Do you not? You just don't run the thrower.
No, I don't like running throws. I think they're a bit too vulnerable. They're kind of if you put some points on them, if you put some skill points on them, then they'll just die. Like I've had so many linemen die, and throwers have no extra defensive skills other than what the linemen have. So, so it's just points on there, and they die, and you don't need them. You just pick up with the gutter runners and then run around the pitch with movement 9 or 10. So.
I think the argument is, and whether or not it's correct, is that it frees up the gutter runner to go and do other stuff. And then
Yeah.
But carrying any sort of ball carrying with a movement 7 thrower with like no skills or with block or something is terrible, because every time they blitz your cage, you have to dodge away your thrower with agi free. So like. So let's say you're carrying and you're sort of doing a controlled drive, not an all-out 2-turner or something. Then you pick up with your thrower, and then either you have him really deep in the backfield, which I suppose is okay, but he's still only agi 3 thrower, or you have him up front defended in a cage or some sort of cage, and then if they get to him, then he has to dodge away. So I'd just much rather carry on a gutter runner. It's like you don't need 4 gutter runners on offense to do other things. You can perfectly handily use 1 gutter runner. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And obviously you got the extra move.
So from that I take that you are not fielding on offense generally the 1 turner.
Well, up until now I have fielded all 4 gutter runners all the time, and I think I probably will do. I mean, like Kenobi Vance isn't even a 1-turner really, unless he gets to another skill and then he gets sprint. So then he's an actual 1-turner. Like I think it makes a big difference when they get to that movement 10 sprint piece. Then you can just consistently 1-turn versus any defense, and then I might think about protecting him.
Yeah, because at the moment you still need to get at least 1 or 2 pushes, and if they have like sidestep or stand firm or something, that can.
Yeah, exactly. So certainly not relying on that.
Yeah, I actually play Skaven in the UK BBL, and I've just got plus movement on one of my gutter runners, but it's like their 5th skill or something, or 4th skill, sorry. And yeah, I mean it's good to have it for your 1-turns, but I still keep them on the pitch and do all the normal stuff with them.
Yeah, I don't like being too reliant. I like actually, like I'm pretty aggressive on defense, so I will really put my gutter runners in there and do stuff with them. I think if you have a natural 1-turner, then you tend to sort of like sit back and just sort of, not take too many cas and let them score sometimes, and then just kind of like go for the 1-turn. So I like to be getting stuck in there on defense, and with Skaven you can just kind of throw things at the ball and see if you can knock the ball out.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares if they die really? So and yeah, the last thing about the Storm Vermin is that I have not rolled a fucking claw for ages. So it's been a long time. This is actually. I think one of my Storm Vermin died during the season, and I think it was my best Storm Vermin. So Kark Blugfan is like a replacement, but they develop reasonably quick because they're always doing the blitzing for Mighty Blow. But yeah, cannot roll a claw at all.
In fairness, you're going to have a lot of inducements fairly often this season against those like really high team value teams. You could get Glart or something if you really wanted that claw.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Mighty Blow, so he's just got Claw, and Claw on its own is not as good. It's okay, Glart. I quite like Glart.
If you're going up against one of those like AV9 teams, I think It's okay.
Yeah, no, he's pretty decent. But then you always get a wizard first. So then it would have to be quite a lot of inducements to get Glar as well, or break into
anyway,
a bank.
we should probably move on, I think.
Yep, next one. So, predictions. I think I'm going to get smashed. Right. Okay. So The Noisy Rats are a admin team. Black Pyramid. Ooh, I have a look at this team earlier. This looks So this is Riff Cannon's Black Pyramid team. Now he's missing a couple of his pretty good players.
Yeah.
I do like Dark Elves. What do you think of this Dark Elf team? Anybody? Pink?
I've been playing Riff Cannon for the last 2 seasons because I played him in Division 2 before we were promoted to Division 1 and then last season again. First of all, I think it pays to be said that Riff Cannon is the winner of the Open Devastational. So,
is he? Right.
yes, so he won his 4 matches in the Devastational, and I think that should speak volumes of his skill as a coach. It's always giving you a fight. He never surrenders unless, if his team is destroyed. He was able to score 3 touchdowns with only 6 players on the pitch against Orcs in the final game of the Devastational. It was amazing. It was such a game. It was beautiful. Beautiful to see.
So, come out of the Devastational, which has earned a bit of a reputation for wrecking players and teams before the season starts.
I reckon a lot less people are going to do it next season.
I do love the name of the Devastational. I hope they make that official next season. So, welcome to the Devastational. But yeah, to win the Devastational with 4-0, that's pretty good going, isn't it? So, and his team looks.
He didn't actually lose anyone. Like, he's got a couple of injuries here, but they're just missing games.
They're just MNGs, yeah. So, his team looks in decent shape. So for this first game against whoever it is that's filling in the admin spot, then he's going to be down a bit, but 15-50. But he's still got some good players there. So
I like it. He's got that lineman, wrestle, tackle, strip ball, leap. And then he's got Juggernaut and Switch Off. I like that, going for the surfs. And he's got the surfing beer stand stadium upgrade thing.
Well, good spot. You like to look at the stands.
The stadiums, yeah. Well, if there's something like that, I look at that and I see he's got Juggernaut on his Switch Off. He's clearly trying to surf stuff. So
I wonder whether he's got too much TV on some of his linemen. Like he's got guard, blodge. Blodge guard is good on a lineman, but the lineman with Rog, tackle, leap, strip. I guess you just don't sack him, do you? But that's quite a lot of TV on what's one of your slower pieces, I guess. But
well, it's almost a blitzer. It's only 1 movement less. It's an elf. It's a skilled elf. It's always dangerous.
Yep. No, there's nothing wrong with that. And then Dauntless. I never like to get Dauntless on a strength 3 piece. But what do you think about Dauntless on the Witch? This is obviously the last skill that he picked up. Could you think of anything better that would have gone instead of Dauntless? Or what you have chosen?
Maybe strip ball, but I think Dauntless gives him 1 dice against almost anyone.
Yep.
I guess it does help with surfing, but sometimes. But I don't know. I don't know what else I'd get though.
Tackle. I think I'd get tackle on the Witch before.
If you're trying to surf people though, you don't necessarily want tackle, because then you knock people down.
No, because dodge is optional anyway, so you knock people down anyway. So I don't think tackle. I think I don't know. Maybe he's found Dauntless really good, but I think I would like blodge, step, and then tackle is probably my next one, or even dive and tackle. We've already got the jump up, dive and tackle is a decent combo. So, and he's going with a runner, so okay, which is a choice that some Dark Elf coaches make.
You don't sound too enthusiastic about that.
I don't know. My runner always just fucks up really badly. So
no, but that runner is really a nice piece. It's a plus movement. It's a dodge piece. Also, he has pass, so he can distribute the ball when needed nicely.
Yeah, true.
24, so
I like that. So usually the thing about runners is when they get sacked, they've got 2 players on them because they've got an assisting player and they've got the one that's doing the sack. So that's already a 4+ pass away. But then if you've got pass, then it's 4+ with reroll, so it's 75%. So, but without pass, then it's like, do I even want to risk this pass, because you got the interception chance, you've got the catch on the other player to pick it up.
I do love it when they choose to use the hand. What's it called?
The dump off.
Dump off, yeah, and then you don't even knock them down.
You just roll pushes anyway.
Someone else, and then you just push them or something. And it's like, oh, good.
No, that's true, and also dump off combines with pass also.
Yeah, that's right. So if you have pass, it makes the dump off a much safer play. So that's pretty good. Okay, let's move on. So let's see the schedule. So then we've got 2 more to go. Sage's Slaughterers versus the Heretics of Lilith. So let's have a look at the Slaughterers. So I didn't watch this match because I was playing another match in another league last night, but I hear it was a pretty tough luck for Sage from what you're saying. Let's just talk about his team though. So the match was pretty good, but his team was scared the shit out of everybody in the playoffs, basically, didn't it? Nobody wanted to face the Sage.
2+ strength beastmen, so he's got 6 strength 4 players, which is pretty amazing. That's like, you're almost at lizard level there.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Claw, Mighty Blow on all of his warriors, Guard on all of them as well. That's fantastic. He's got his strength 4 Surfer with Stand Firm, so he can't get counter surfed. And again, he's got the Beer Stand.
He's got Chloe the Leap Beast. Although he's missing its game at the moment, but he's got the Leap. There you go. So Viking Cop went for Wrestle, Tackle, Prehensile Tail on one of his beasts, and Sage goes for a bit of leaping. So basically, both Chaos teams have got one show-off piece that they need something individual on there.
What would you have got if you'd rolled a double when you got that Prehensile Tail?
Me or Viking Cop?
Viking Drop. Yeah.
No, if I roll doubles, the answer is instant. Yeah, it's Diving Tackle.
It's Diving Tackle. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
that
go with
makes
Wrestle, Tackle, Diving Tackle. Yeah, okay. So is that Diving Tackle something you look to add to a Chaos team fairly late in development then? Is that...
It turns out to be really useful. I mean, for controlling opposing players, especially elves that tend to dodge out of your tackle zones quite easily, are also scaling. I mean, giving them a not bonus, the other word, malus, -2 to the roll, really annoys elf players. You don't know how much are you used to roll a 2+, maximum a 3+, and then you need to think about a 4+.
Yeah, I
it
think
changes the way you think about it, doesn't it?
I was going to say it's exactly that. It changes the way you think about it. So as an agi player, your players with dodge, if it's a 1 in 36 dodge away 2+, you kind of don't think about it too much. You think there's a possibility of it going wrong, but you assume it's not going to go wrong. But you kind of maybe you have a little bit of safety, but
that's the way you play the team as well, right? That's like the point of having those players is that you kind of have to roll those dice and assume that they're going to work.
Yeah.
What's the point in having them?
Exactly, and every now and again that you snake one and you try and recover from it, but you assume it's going to work. Now with Diving Tackle chucked into mix, I think you're absolutely right. It just changes the way you think, so you have to throw more blocks or move a few more players before you do the dodge or this or that. So
and a lot of the time you might want to move your gutter runner just to do an assist or something, and like you said, you'd easily think about doing that as one of your first actions because it's not very likely to fail. But then as soon as they've got a Diving Tackle player on you, it's like
so it's changing the ordering of your turn quite a lot as well, which can have quite a big influence.
Probably makes you do it in a less efficient way. You're going to end up using a player that maybe you wouldn't have normally used to do that.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Diving Tackle too much because I don't want to encourage too many people to have Diving Tackle. So Sage's team, obviously a really strong player. He's a big streamer and he hasn't taken many losses on his team, and he has got to be one of the favourites to get back there this season. Everyone will be gunning for him. I know that
41, 5 and 5 is pretty impressive.
It's pretty good, isn't it? But I know that Full Metal wants to take some pieces out of his team, for example. So he'd be well up for.
I'm sure everyone does. That's the problem.
Yeah, we're going to see some fouling there.
And being a streamer, everyone's going to want to take them down.
Sure. Yeah, but you have to get some better dice and play a bit better than him, which is not easy at all. So okay, that's Sage. Yeah, and then we've got the Heretics of Lilith. So this was the high TV team, wasn't it? High TV Dark Elf team. So bringing up the team roster. So these guys last season, let me see.
Do you know
Where
you
were
were
they last
asking me
season?
before what you would have got instead of Dauntless on the other Witch Elf? I've just looked at this team and I've decided my answer. I would have gone
Pro.
Pro. Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
And I totally agree with that. I think that's a good pick.
Just to try and get more consistent serves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, particularly on that other player that had Juggernaut. Just I think that it's going to help you out more often, probably, than Dauntless is. Anyway, that was a different team. So
Yeah,
it just came into my head.
I hadn't thought about Pro. Tackle was the one I thought about, but Pro is definitely something I would definitely consider as an option there. Just for the surfing.
So he's got a Mighty Blow piling on Blitzer.
Yeah, this is good, isn't it? So that's two doubles. The first two doubles on his Blitzer here were Mighty Blow. I guess that's his first Mighty Blow on the team, and then piling on. So he's got Mighty Blow, piling on Tackle Blitzer.
Mighty Blow Blitzer. Although that's actually 3. He must be a bit about that.
I wonder if that's recent, because I'm not sure I would keep an Agi 3 elf on my team, but
Agi 3 plus strength.
Plus strength, Mighty Blow.
Mighty Blow, for sure.
oh, he's 200k worth. 200k worth of value though. That's basically 1/10 of his sort of like entire TV is in this guy who's only Agi 3, so he's going to fail some dodges.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't have to dodge. He can just turn into one of those players that sits there and...
He can block him 3.
Strength 4 blodge is going to be annoying for people to deal with.
Yeah, true. I haven't played many leagues, so I guess I'm just quite ruthless with TV. I like to sack people, but then maybe you do that a bit more in just like TV matching environments, whereas with leagues you just build up your players and then let them die a natural death. So
I think it genuinely just really depends on the coach. I've heard people argue it both ways.
yeah. So, and he's got a noob witch elf who's just got herself her first level, so have to see where that goes.
I think that that elf, I'm not sure, because Donkey Dragon, Andy 90, is the leader of our clan, classic clan in the clan league, and then we chat a lot during the weeks and stuff, and I think he shared with us the role of the skills of that witch elf, and if I'm not wrong, roll double sixes. So
right.
could be a strength for witch elf rocking GM1.
I must admit I was pretty envious of Sand Dune's Dark Elves, and I hear they were even better last season before they got a bit wrecked. But Sand Dune's Dark Elves, he had two pretty cool witches as well. Now the one thing I've just looked at here is the Celia the Blitzer, the Movement 9 Blitzer. The first skill that he took after Blodge, so Blodge is pretty normal for Blitzers, is Catch. What's going on there? What's going on there?
That's pretty weird, isn't it?
I think he was developing a kind of catcher, and he got lucky and rolled 2 plus moves in the last games. And then he has kind of semi-one-turner there.
Yeah, he is a semi-one-turner, because I guess you need to catch when you're in contact with other players when you're trying to do a push one-turn. But to get catch as the third skill, that is like quite crazy. It's interesting to see how.
I'm assuming he had some weird plan for that player, and it got scuppered by rolling doubles and movements.
Yeah, obviously got Mighty Blow and thought about the double. I wonder
Or
if
maybe a misclick.
I wonder if he uses the blitzer, like that blitzer, to hang on near the runner, so he can catch the dump off or something. I don't know. That's what's the plan for that. But yeah, if you use him as part of the cage, then the runner can dump off to Celia, and even if he's got like 1 or 2 in contact, he's a fairly reliable catch. But anyway, right. So that's the Heretics, and finally, what do we have on here? The interdimensional bullshit versus the Jungle Corsairs. So 2 more elf teams. So we've basically got elf teams and a bunch of Chaos and Nurgle teams in this division.
But
So,
what happened to this team? What happened? Where are all the guys?
well, don't blame me. I think I managed to kill their star thrower. They had 2 throwers, and one of them was pretty amazing. The thrower that's remaining is kind of like a bit of a blitzer guy, really. Portos guy, like I played him. The last game he played was against me, and I figured the only way I possibly had of beating this team was to do a lot of fouling. So So I did do a lot of fouling. I'm normally not a big fouling person, but yeah, and I just got really lucky on the foul roll. So it seems pretty scary though.
In fairness, yeah, I think it's still a pretty good team. I think there's something to be said, especially for like Elf and Skaven teams, when they don't have that many players, but their players are really leveled up. That's actually almost better in a lot of ways. Like having some lone alignment, that doesn't matter too much, but you get the inducements like getting a wizard every game. Like that's going to make a big difference to him.
Yeah, sure. They can play perfectly well with a 2 or 3 lone alignment.
I think so.
Elves.
Yeah.
Just put them on the line of scrimmage or whatever, let them get hit.
Yep.
Absolutely. I remember Interdimensional Bullshit being a really, really high TV team at the beginning of last season, like 2 million something. And he really started to play maybe not better, but I mean to perform better when he dropped a little bit after meeting some of us and losing some players. And then everybody stopped to get inducements against him. I mean, a wizard and stuff and bribes. Because then he could play the ball safer. And that's what these guys do. They play the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, they do not give the pass. They give the pass if they can, if not to the Norse team of Drakkar Dominators, who were usually bust.
That was an interesting
These
game.
guys.
That's another classic game from the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. But those plays amazing. I mean, it's a really dedicated, amazing elf coach. And I remember playing with him last season, having lots of fun, and I won him because I was lucky.
Also, I know that Toast Guy's doing pretty well. I think he had an elf team. He had a pro elf team in the Champs Ladder this season that's just finishing, and he was doing pretty well in that. So he's obviously, he knows what he's doing with his elves and enjoys playing with them. So this looks like a pretty good elf team, and yeah, it could pull out some stuff. It's going to be 1800 TV with the loners, with 3 loners. So it's going to be 1800. So still quite high.
Yeah, I mean he's got 3 guard. I like that. A couple of them are a little bit funny. Like he's got guard on a kicker, which there's nothing wrong with that, but and then also he's got the armor value 6 catcher with blodge step, and guard, which is amazing. But then AV6, he's going to be getting people a lot. That guy's going to die at some point.
Yeah, I suppose so. He's probably one of those things that you just don't appo when he dies. You just
like he's amazing while he's still alive, and when he dies, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Armor value 6 with no defense would be terrible, but armor value 6 with blood step, you still have to get pretty lucky, and you can probably protect your catchers. Your movement 8 pieces, you can protect them a little bit, can't you? So. Interesting. And finally, we have on the schedule, so Interdimensional Bullshit will be up against Dreamify's Jungle Corsairs.
Oh,
now these
elves against dark elves. That's a
high,
classic.
yeah. Good elves versus bad elves. Let's have a look.
Oh yeah, we got some more crazy stuff going on.
Oh, okay. So I'm pretty envious of some of these guys here. Now, the first player I looked at here has sidestep and stand firm. What's the point of that?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Why?
And an eagle.
I would have given that guy guard or something.
Yeah, definitely guard for the strength skill on Reno. Like blodge, guard, sidestep, tackle, diving tackle. That's an amazing blitzer. Stand firm.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that actually. I'd be interested to know why he did that.
One of the great things about stand firm or sidestep is that it's really good for sideline play, isn't it? Against frenzy or just defending on the sidelines in general. You just whack them on the sideline and they're really good defensive. But I don't think you need both. But I'm here to open to be persuaded. Look at his other players though. He's got Mighty Blow, Witch Elf with all the skills. So he's gone for Pro then Dauntless, and tackle.
Yeah, there we go. Just get both.
There we can see another Dauntless Witch Elf, correct?
No sidestep on either of these Witch Elves, which is unusual. I think I like sidestep as one of my early skills it's one of the more important ones, I would say. But so he's gone for some of the more sort of unusual skills without even getting sidestep, and he's not going to get sidestep on Nelly until she is a superstar. And
no one's mentioned the Mighty Blow piling on movement 9 blitzer.
another blitzer that has changed roles in a crazy manner, sort of like going from being the killer to being the sort of like the killer one-turner or something halfway through his career.
Like, just give him tackle, and then you just stick him anywhere in the opponent's half of the field, and that's a massive threat. Especially for like agility teams or something, that maybe you want to hang back in the backfield or something. You put him like a bit far up, and you just can't get away from him.
Yeah, yeah. Certainly some scary elves here with 3 tacklers, 2 mighty blow.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at Mestin, please.
Mestin.
Oh, are you talking about the?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's so we have a dirty player, sneaky git, line man. I wonder how many.
Like that, if I'm honest. So you've got 110k.
Yep.
Player, like, that's quite expensive for a dirty player, and I think, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think I've actually ever got sneaky git on anyone. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think the general consensus is that it's not great.
So sneaky git will. What does it do to your chances of a foul and of getting sent off? It's basically.
But I think it only works if you don't break armor. So it's like you're. I don't know. It's like it only works if you're failing at doing what you want to do, which is kind of.
It's like 1 in 12 with 30 player, something like that.
So basically, it means you're less likely to get sent off for those frustrating times when you foul, get a stun, and get sent off. So.
Like, roll like double 1 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that does happen, but yeah, as you say, 110k is quite a lot of.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Also, he has another dirty player, so like,
Yeah.
I could maybe understand it if, like, you know, he levels up. You don't necessarily have control over that. He gets an MVP or something, and you really want to keep your dirty player. Maybe the best thing to give him is dirty sneaky git. I don't know, but if you have another dirty player, I don't think I would.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think the only time I foul with Dark Elves is when I get the Blitzer guy, the star player, so who has dirty player. So
Yeah, but that's the magic of the game. I mean, sometimes you have to think out of the box and try to develop your own strategy and your own play style. And I remember talking with Trimify last season about this fouling build, and he's really trusting it and convinced about it. I see a point about this because, I mean, when you play IG teams and not bash teams, you can afford yourself to lose some players even. And your team is operational. I mean, it's not the same as when I play with orcs and I lose 4 players, I have a problem. But if I play with elves and I lose 4 players, okay, it's not nice, but it can work. So sacrificing some players to make strategic fouls makes kind of sense sometimes.
Sure, and also Dark Elves, when they play against other Agi teams like Skaven or other elves, you know, Woodies or whatever, they turn into the bash team, don't they? So they're the ones that have better armor, and they've got mighty blow here and stuff. So they are a decent bash team. So if they're looking to get up on players and remove players, then getting some fouls in there is probably a good plan if you're already up players and you just want to.
Yeah, they definitely tend to foul more than the other elves.
Yeah, well, just because they're evil. Yeah.
It's in their nature. Can't blame them.
It's in their nature. Right, well, I think, Pink, you've got to go off and play a game, haven't you? We've spent an hour. Or can you stay with us?
I've actually rescheduled it, so if you guys want to carry on, I can do that.
Oh, okay. So how are you guys feeling? We've been an hour in. I think we're going to accelerate. We'll have to be a bit quicker here. We were trying to keep this to an hour, and we've talked. It's been good fun talking about these teams, but we've got 2 more divisions to cover. So okay. We'll promise the guys of Divs 2 and Divs 3 that we will, focus on you guys. But we're gonna sort of like whistle through. We're gonna get a bit quicker going through Divs 2 and Divs 3 for the previews here anyway. So all right, let me bring up Division GMan Division 2. Okay. So here we have Div 2. So Div 2, who's it going to have in it? It's going to have a lot of people. I recognise a few names from here from my Div 3, including